Hi, I'm Trooper Smacka.
Hi, I'm Trooper Wellman,
Please stay tuned for a behind-the-scenes look at being a state trooper.
and together we can make a difference.
Here we are live with another edition of Trooper Talk at the 360 Vegas studios with Trooper Wellman. So, Trooper Wellman, we have such an eventful day. I mean, so many things are happening. And so the other night I was driving home, and there was a pickup truck that, you know, when it was 6:15 at night, pitch black, that didn't have its headlights on.
Oh.
Now, this is another thing that this makes me nuts because I want to drive my car. And I don't drive my car specifically because people without their headlights on, you can't see at night. And they drive so fast, and they cut right in front of you, and they have black cars, and you don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, so I got behind him. And I kept flashing my headlights at him. Right? You know, and he probably thought, like, you know, this guy's an idiot, and he's a lunatic, he's trying to, you know, bother me. But I kept flashing, and then I had to get off. So I was like, okay, well, I have to get off. So I purposely, instead of staying in the right lane, I purposely got over and behind him to flash the lights behind him. So to recognize, maybe to turn on the headlights. Anyway, I got over, and as I got over, thank goodness, the gentleman turned on the headlights.
Oh, good.
But maybe, you know, he recognized, or, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that, you know, this would have been a missile going down the road at 70 miles an hour or 65. I don't care. Maybe he wasn't speeding, right? That you can't see, and you get over to the right lane, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah, you know, throughout my career, I'm going on almost 12 years, I will say that majority of times that people don't have their lights on, obviously they're possibly an impaired driver or maybe didn't pay full attention when they got in the car, but especially with Las Vegas, we have a lot of rental cars, and individuals just get the car, think it's ready to go, or they don't know how to work it, especially people that aren't from the United States. They don't understand all the gadgets or the knobs and stuff, and so they don't have their headlights on. So if I could give any advice, if you ever are in a rental car or a vehicle that you're not familiar with, take a moment to get familiar with it. Make sure your headlights are on, especially when you're going to be traveling on roadways that you're not familiar with because you're not from here. So, yeah, a lot of people have rental cars that I've seen throughout my career that don't have their lights on.
That's a good point. Johnny, make a note of that to put on the TV about the rental cars, that if you have a rental car, to check all the lighting workings, right?
Yeah.
To make sure that you know how to do it, because in today's world, most of them have the auto button.
Yes.
That at least auto turns the car, the lights on and off. Maybe not in older vehicles, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, so I see this, and I still see these cars. You know, I mean, I haven't gone for the drive because it was a little bit rainy this last weekend. But, you know, in the SUV, I mean, these people on the highways, I mean, they're just buzzing along.
I know. It's very, very dangerous to have a vehicle with no headlights on. And, you know, there's majority of our highways and surface streets are very well lit, but there are some areas that aren't. And, you know, everybody knows that, especially Vegas right now, we're still heavily under construction.
Yeah.
So to have a vehicle, a weapon, if you want to say, traveling at a high rate of speed with no traffic lights on, and if they abruptly stop or anything, it's just nothing good's going to come from that.
Yeah. IR-15 to go to 215 transition ramp, a tractor trailer that was traveling too fast. Is this the one we talked about last week?
I believe so. It was the rain.
We didn't have the picture, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was the rain, and
maybe it was. I don't know.
They overcorrected, overturning, and it was filled with
you talked about. Excuse me. I think you talked about this at the end or something, but we didn't have the picture.
Was it? You would remember if I say this detail. It was filled with like hot dogs and produce and stuff.
Produce. You didn't say hot dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I can say about this crash, even though we talked about it, was that this was shut down for, I want to say, 12 hours, maybe 6 hours.
Here's in the back, that's the
IR-15.
I mean, that's the guy that's unloading the truck into the truck.
Exactly. They have to unload that entire trailer before they can even flip it over.
Right.
And that's just like, and it's not even like it's still on the pallet. It's like everything's scattered everywhere. So you're talking like shovels and throwing it in dumpsters or loading it in the truck. It is just such a tedious process, but it has to be done. because there's no choice.
There's no choice, and that's what has to be done in order for the wrecker to come in and flip that thing over, put that thing on his wrecker, drive that thing away
Yeah.
so that people can now come down that road.
Yeah, you either unload it while it's in there, or you flip it over, take the risk of that thing opening on the side, and now it's all on your roadway, and now you got to clean that up. So
Right.
pick your poison.
Pick your poison. All right, so Trooper Wellman, here's what we're going to tell you. We went to this event, okay? And you said to us, oh, I'm going to open up all the doors of my car, right? And I'm going to see what happens. You know what I mean? And maybe people will come, and, you know, they okay, so Johnny and I were walking around, and, like, every person, so everybody tries on your vest. I'm afraid that people are going to run down the road with this vest on and this hat, right? But everybody's trying on your vest, trying on the hat. They're all excited. There must have been 50 people in your cruiser, touching things, radios, screaming. Now, nobody said profanity. Nobody said anything derogatory. Like, they were all nice and friendly and all. But everybody gets excited. Right? I mean, you came, you had your hat on, the whole thing, right?
I like to call it organized chaos.
Organized chaos is a good thing, right?
Yikes. Yeah, it was very rewarding. So fun to do. We went to the middle school. You were there. I'll point out that's Neil right there in the pink shirt, even though he's kind of hiding.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He's always a part of our events, and it's amazing. Always giving back to the community. And we were all out there and let the kids check out the cruisers, you know, see what it's like, put on the gear. I mean, that's our future, so those could be some of my future partners. You never know, and so those interactions matter, and that one interaction could have the ultimate impact on a child and their life, and forever they can remember if I made them laugh or smile, or they maybe asked me a serious question and I answered it in a manner that they didn't think I would, and you just never know, right? You never know the impact you have on somebody, and that's why I do what I do, and that's why it's important to go out there. And it was chaotic, and I was towards the end I was exhausted. I'm not gonna lie, that was exhausting. But some of the kids, you know, were just like wild and crazy, but then some of them were very well, like, respectful, and they would ask, may I push this button, may I talk on your radio, may I do this, and just trying to keep organization. And that's why you're cracking me up when you thought they were going to take off the vest. I was like trying to watch it all the time. That's what I used to love when Smacka was with me, because, you know, double teaming it is much easier than just one person.
Yeah, of course.
So I do wish I still had my partner, but unfortunately, you know, the reality is we're short-staffed, so. And he's off leading his squad now.
Yeah, so we got to do that, you know?
Yeah,
We
but-
still give shout out to Sergeant Smacka's
Smacka.
mom,
Oh.
right? Yeah, she still watches, I'm sure, right? Try to make sure you put that on the video, right? Sergeant Smacka's
Yeah.
mom. Hi, how's it going? Waving at you.
Yeah. No, this was a fun one, though, and the day was beautiful. The weather was perfect,
Yes.
and we saw hundreds of kids that day and got to interact with them. And you brought your car out.
I did. It
They
was
were
fun.
going crazy for your
Crazy.
car, so it was awesome.
And some of these kids, when they turn of a older age and they get behind the wheel, have the option of making the wrong choice and getting behind the wheel impaired,
Yeah.
right? And so, if by going to these events, we take the badge and put it towards the positive impact and keep telling them, look, this is the fun part about it. This is fun. This is fun. You don't want to be on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, and so what I will tell you is that what's really cool is that Tom Rainey, who's a very dear friend, who's the sergeant for Clark County School District Police, has his office right behind this school.
Oh.
And they have a few of the Clark County School District Police, you know, in there. Okay, so he took us in his office and, you know, and all that stuff, right? And so what I will tell you is that these kids were very respectful. And so it was really amazing. And so when I was able to sit there and watch them with you and watch the interactions, it just was very cool. And it comes back to the point that we want to show positivity.
Absolutely.
You know, and so there were a lot of Clark County School District Police. There was the Park Police there, right? And so I found out that
Fire
that
department.
the fire department was there. Everybody was going through the fire department truck. Did you see that? that thing didn't stop. They were going through like this. It was amazing.
No, honestly, it was a blur. I was so focused on my car, the kids that.
Right. It was really amazing, but and so we were just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so thank you for the invite and and all that stuff. And so no, it was fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we were very excited.
Just one of many that we get to do. It's fun.
Right, I agree 100%.
Mm-hmm.
For more prisoners in the model across the nation, me and my officer on our team, we want you to see if you succeed. Anything we can do to help, we will.
So I just went and spoke at Hope for Prisoners last week with Lieutenant Munoz and Officer
Yes.
Smith again, and Metro was there, and Hope for Prisoners actually did a great video, and they posted it on their social media of all of us speaking to those individuals, and he spoke at their graduation the next day, and it's powerful. There's nothing else in the country like this program and what we're doing with John Ponder and his staff. And it's amazing to be a part of the ride. And a lot of it is centered on Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department just because they're bigger. But I tell you what, Lieutenant Munoz was Mentor of the Year last year. Officer Smith with Parole and Probation, so our department, but a different division. She is there almost every day working side by side with those individuals that are coming back into society and getting them on the right track. And it is truly amazing to watch it and to be a part of it. And to, after we get done talking and speaking with all the individuals, the hopefuls, we always laugh because when we first start and we're in there, everybody's kind of like, tense and like shoulders and like, oh, I just got to be here. I don't want to listen to these people. And the same thing, we walk in and I'm super nervous and I'm just like, okay, like hopefully they don't boo me when I start to talk because my face gets super red and I get nervous. But by the end of it, we're hugging, we're laughing, we're clapping for each other. People are openly standing up and talking and thanking us, and we're thanking them for being so vulnerable. And it's just, I just can't wait for you to witness it one day. It is so amazing.
Yeah. So Sheriff McMahill is a friend, and he's a great guy. And so what I will tell you is when we went to his inauguration thing, right? One of the, he spoke about wellness and stuff. And one of the coolest things for me when it came to him was that we sat here, him and I, for a nice extended period of time, and we were talking, just him and I, just as two guys, And so, but before he got elected and all that stuff, right? We were talking about my friend and Eric Lloyd and all this type of stuff, right? Anyway, the coolest part for me was every single thing that he spoke about when he went to the inauguration thing, he said the same words. And from everybody that I know at Metro that is now based upon the fact that he wants wellness for the officers, and you know what I mean, like and this is very important, for what he's doing. And the Hope for Prisoners falls into that same category, which is that, we're trying to make sure that people come back into society and that people love them. And so, when we had Lieutenant Munoz on here and he said, how the guys call him on his cell phone, right? That's important stuff. I mean, look, I'm going through a really tough time. I'm about to do something I don't want to do. Don't do it. I'll be there in 15 minutes, and we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
And so we know that you extend everything that you do to do this, and so we wanted to give a shout out to the Hope for Prisoners. We do have to go, and it's the most wonderful organization.
It's like I said, there's nothing else like it in our nation. So Nevada is the only one doing it, and they're starting to branch out, but to see that we are like the founding area that started this amazing program, and I can't say we started it because obviously it was John Ponder, but to help be a part of it, to be successful, it's just awesome.
We sounds good, though. You are a part of it, and here's the thing, with the Metropolitan Police Department doing it, and all the time that we've been talking, you've always talked about it. So you and all the troopers and stuff like that are a very big part of that. You know what I mean? So
We had all the branches out there. They're starting to smack it. That's an older photo, but
Right.
yeah, it's a day dedicated to law enforcement. And this year they really focused on Metropolitan Police Department because it was their 50-year anniversary, and they had officers that were part of the department 50 years ago out there that actually were like the founding officers. So that was really cool, and it was just like a fun event that the city puts together with Behind the Blue and Metro, and they offer they just had like a lot of stuff, family events like jumpy houses and vendors and food and stuff for families to come out and have a good time, and just I mean, it definitely is like a meet and greet with law enforcement, or it's also catered to any law enforcement to come on out. So it's just a cool event that they do every year.
We talked about it the last time. What is it, 511 or something like that? I saw on one of the news stations they said that 511 is the weather.
Yes.
Or something like that, right?
511. And nvroads.com if you want to see stuff in real time too, if you don't want to call. Yeah.
And I saw they had, so it is in the news article Friday or Saturday, whatever day it was, right? So they said if you're not out the mountain by not 9:26, right? If you're not out the mountain by 9:24, you're not getting there. And when you're driving up there, the police are going to say, please show us your season pass, right? Because they're not going to let you up here.
Yeah, we have to control the capacity right now at the mountain because it's safety for everyone. It's safety for our resources to get up and down the mountain, and I'm referring to fire trucks, ambulances. You have tons of family up there having a good time, but there are incidents and accidents that occur where people get injured sledding, skiing, snowboarding, and we need to make sure those resources can get up there. Cars go off the edge of the mountain, slide off, totally different things. Sometimes we got to get tow trucks up there. We need to make sure our roadways are clear enough to get resources to and from the top to the bottom, and to help with that, because what happens is people can't find parking spots because it's not that big up there, but people can't find parking. So they park in the roadway, or they park partially in the shoulder and the rest of their car is blocking the roadway. And same thing on the other side. So you can barely fit one car through, and you have traffic coming both ways because it was a two-way highway. So now we have this whole problem. And people, there's no parking, so they just sit there anyway. It's just stationary. So And people are frustrated because they have nowhere to go and park, and people are frustrated now that we're turning them away. So it's a lose-lose, but ultimately safety is why we're doing what we're doing and keeping this in mind. So if you do plan on going to the mountain, what we're suggesting and encouraging people to do is to go online and buy a parking pass for the ski resort, or they have the snow play area that you can purchase the pass for. If you have a pass and you present that at the entry point to go up to the mountain, you will be let in because you have a pass and we've accounted for you. If you don't have a pass, if we're already at capacity and you get there too late in the day, the time can fluctuate. It just depends on how many people are up there, but we're keeping track. And we have a trooper posted on each entryways, and we have an individual from the Lee Canyon Resort as well down there checking passes. And so if there's an issue, they can help you with it. But we are checking, so that way if it gets too full, we're cutting it off. And then as people leave, we'll let people come up. But it's a gamble at this point because we have to. We don't have a choice. And too many people have been injured and we couldn't get to them. And that's our number one focus and priority. So we had to figure out a solution to it. And last but not least, I will say that another suggestion is make sure if you are going to the mountain, make sure you dress warm, have food and supplies, have your cell phone. There's not a lot of cell service up there. So if you have a parking pass on, like the digital one on your phone, screenshot it, take a picture of it, print it out, because that's another problem is people get up to the mountain and up to the checkpoint site. Well, there's no signal, so you can't pull it up on your email and show the trooper. And at that point, you're holding up the line. So make sure you screenshot it or print it out, okay? As well as make sure you keep know where all your items are, because another thing we're seeing is people have their car keys in their pockets, or maybe like a bag, and they're sledding or playing out there and they lose their keys, and now they're standing by their car You know, it's 7 degrees up there. You got children that are wet from playing in the snow. You have to call someone to bring you a set of keys or a tow truck. You're looking at minimum an hour you're standing outside your vehicle. And we don't have troopers that can just let you sit in their car or hang out with you because they're responding to emergency situations up there. So please be conscious of where your car keys are and your cell phones and your ear pods and your all your stuff that you might lose up there, because that's a real thing right now. And so yes.
Yesterday, one of the guys that works for me, apparently, like, he had a friend that went up to the mountain, and so he says, "Oh, look at this video of my friend," and I go, "Oh, okay." So exactly like you said is happening. Okay, so he's driving a pickup truck and he's driving up the road, and there's another car that is coming down this way, and he doesn't know what to do. So they're sort of like this, like, you know, move. And the other guy's like, no, you move. And so no one's moving. So the guy that his friend decides to reverse down the road.
Yeah.
Right? So he's reversing. And then and he's filming. Right? And he's filming. And then all of a sudden, he goes off the road because the road is not wide enough. He's in reverse. He's in a truck. He's not seeing where he's going, right? Because, you know, he's like this. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, you see the truck go off the road. It's going straight, and then it goes like this. And it goes on an angle. And now this car just goes, okay, thank you very much. You know what I mean? Like, see you later, right? This guy, his friend, took 5 hours to get off the mountain, because they had to turn the truck, and then a tow guy comes and pulling, and this guy's pulling, and that guy's pulling, and he's pulling. 5 hours. Now, I don't know if he had enough gas, right? Like, the other thing I read is, you know, make sure you have enough gas because there's no gas on the mountain.
That's a
right?
great point.
Like, you know, who knows what's going on? But the point is that, you know, people right now are not paying attention to these mountains, and there was a tragedy where we had to get the emergency vehicles up, and I was a volunteer fireman, and those fire trucks, if you get in their way and they have to go, they have those big bumpers for a reason.
Yeah.
And they will push that car right out of the road, and that is the end of the game.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, there is a very, very big evident problem. But the thing is that if we're all just respectful, then everybody can use the facilities. We just have to do it in a different way. And so we just, before we go to the mountains, just like with anything, let's prepare the day before so that we know what's going on. Right?
And that's why the one thing I can suggest is just to go online and purchase a parking pass for the ski resort. That's going to be the easiest way. You know, you're guaranteed to get up there. It's just like, let's say Disneyland, you know, to control being too busy and everybody that's up there to have a good time still or be able to go into the park, you have to purchase your tickets ahead of time now. You know, you can't just show up. I mean, you can, but you take the gamble if you can actually go up or not. So just to prepare, plan ahead, and then that way, if you get your parking pass, you know you're good to go.
Where do they do probably on the Lee Canyon website? I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
You can buy just a parking pass, right?
Yeah, and then if you go on Go Mount Charleston, that's their Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. They constantly are posting things, and that's a QR code as well right there. But that's if you want to buy a season pass. And then NV Roads, we all post it, but ultimately if you go on Go Mount Charleston, they will have stuff on there.
Okay. I was watching this program with my wife the other day, and it was very sad because the lady was driving in the car going in a road like this, and there was a big truck that the guy was texting on the phone. You know, it was a TV show. You know what I mean? But anyway, he was in one of those big trucks, and he smashed into the SUV going this way, like T-boned him, and the lady died. And so this texting and driving is a very, very big problem. And when you're going 65 miles an hour, and you're looking down going, yeah, is that a 5 or a 2? Or, you know, do I... And then there's a chair in the road?
Absolutely. You have to pay full attention at all times. Majority of cars nowadays have not only backup cameras, but but they have hands-free technology in your vehicle, majority of cars. And if not, you can always buy a Bluetooth little head speaker that your AirPods, anything like that, it'll tell you you have a message from, and it'll read it in your ear, so you don't even have to look at your phone. You can respond back by saying, yes, respond, text Neil, I'm on my way, and then your phone will send it. Majority of our stuff is voice activated, so there's never a good excuse or reason to ever text and drive.
Never look down. Always look at the road.
Yeah.
A lack of funding and resources has created a public emergency on Nevada roads. Now, I saw an article with a retired colonel who said that she wouldn't have a problem sounding the alarm. And that I think it was 408. She said it was when she was there were supposed to be 490 troopers, and then and there was like 18 positions available or something or whatever, and then there was 489 troopers that are now they're supposed to be, and there's all like whatever the number is of that are available of positions.
Yeah. We are facing the same challenges every police agency is nationwide with recruiting and retaining people. I mean, a lot of people don't want to do this job anymore. It's very dangerous. That's the reality of it. With that being said, when you do this job, you hold your head high because not everyone can do this job. It's a pride thing. And when you have those calls where you save the life of another, or you save your partner, or you make a difference, that's why you wear the badge. And you remind yourself, this is why I do this job. And put myself in this harm and help others. But ultimately, most of us have families or ourselves that we need to take care of and provide for, and it's a career. And we always talk about all the benefits and retirement and the take-home car and this, that, da. But reality is we are the lowest paying police department here in Nevada, and it's not okay. And we're out there just like everyone else. Just like during COVID, we were out there too working during the pandemic, but everybody else got bonuses except us during the COVID relief fund, but we didn't because we're state employees. And enough is enough, and we can't retain our troopers because they go to other agencies to do the same thing but get paid more. And it's unfortunate and it's frustrating, and we don't talk about it much because usually we can't. But I have to really thank our community partners and our media for bringing it out, because they're our voice right now, and we're so grateful to them because they're keeping it in the spotlight. And our retired chief, who felt helpless, can't speak on anything and wants to make a difference and get a pay increase for our troops. And it's like, what can we do? So the fact that she's retired now and she's still doing interviews to talk about it, because now she can because she's not employed with the state, it's just, that's the reality. And everybody's aware of it. It's not one person's fault. It's collectively that we all need to come together and figure this out and find a solution for it. And, the new the Governor Lombardo, prior sheriff of Metro, is aware of the situation, and we really hope that what he promised is that he makes some changes, and we'll see what comes, because I'm biased, but I think we have the best job in the state, and I'm not saying that other agencies aren't great, but the Department of Public Safety is a fantastic organization to work for. And
not quoting you, quoting the article that was written, right? It's not a little bit of a difference. It's almost double the difference in a pay, right? And then the other thing I learned from that article, right? And you don't have to comment, but I did read from that article, is that as a state employee, you have to pay a certain amount of money for retirement, and these type of things that other employment agents, other employers, you would not be required.
Exactly.
And so
we pay our retirement, other agencies do not.
Right. So it's for the future, but at the end of the day, we're living in the present.
Yeah.
And so what I would say is, again, and not quoting you, but quoting this article in every way. And, you know, Governor Lombardo, who's a friend, is a fantastic guy and is doing everything that he can. And so we just we want to give a shout out to the fact that, you know, if anybody can do anything, that, you know, you do a fantastic job, all the troops do a fantastic job, and that if there's a way to have some form of a pay increase, as per an article that was written, nothing to do with Trooper Talk or
You're
you
fine.
or anything like that.
Yeah, it's out there.
Then you know, like we would love for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Just like everybody would like to make a little extra money, but you know, we would like to, if at all possible. And this is just a individualized person just speaking this myself. That if we could do that, that would be great.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing onto this public emergency, just in case people aren't aware, part of that is we have critical fills. So we've actually had troopers that have retired, and we've rehired them back, and they now work on the road, or they're doing other things in the office, and they're getting their retirement on top of now it's a new second employment because we're in critical fill right now. And we've done it in the past prior to COVID and stuff. But if we could just recruit more and didn't have such a bad staffing issue right now, then we wouldn't have to be doing critical fill.
Right. All right, so look in the camera. Tell everybody to join Nevada State Police, right?
Yeah, NevadaStatePolice.com. If you want to speak to a live recruiter, we have one online at all times. We also have constantly, we're going to job fairs. You can come do a ride along with us, see what it's all about. But it really is a great agency to work for and a great career. I think change is in our future, so be part of the difference.
I love the ride along.
Yeah.
Because I think that, you know, for people that are interested, that if they do the ride along, they may become more interested. And to do the ride along, they go to you, and you said that they get a packet that they have to fill out,
Yeah.
and then that tells them about them and the spiel and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, they can go on NevadaStatePolice.com where they can talk to our recruiter. He'll send them the packet, or they can come down to any of our stations. But our main one is on Sunset in Decatur, which is 4615 West Sunset Road. Normal business hours, Monday through Friday. You can come down there and fill out a packet in person, and then prior to completing the packet, a background check is just completed, and upon that, then you can come do a ride along with us. Nothing breaks my heart more than to see somebody go through 6 months of an academy of just mental and physical, if you want to say, abuse, just like, you know, working out and studying hard and everything's on the line and stress, to then get to the road and be like, oh, this isn't what I wanted and this isn't what I thought. You went through all of that, you know, to just walk away. So that always breaks my heart. But and then if you're if you're debating on what agency to work for, what's the best fit for you, that's what I always suggest to everyone, is go do a ride along with each agency and see what best fits you. Because where are you going to strive the most? What's going to fit you the best, you and your family? And what makes you, because if you're not happy when you come to work, you're going to hate coming to work. So you got to love what you do, right? You got to wake up every day and be like, okay, I love where I work and what I do, so let's do this. And that'll go out to the community as well when you interact with them. So 100%. It's important.
And so the ride along is one shift, right?
Yeah.
So it's like 8 hours or whatever that is, right? So it's not like they do it for like an hour and they're like, all right, I'll see you later, right? So
yeah,
it's one full shift with a trooper, and they go out and they see the whole.
Absolutely, you're my partner for the day. You're gonna ride right next to me. You're gonna go to jail with me if we arrest someone. You're gonna go to the hospital with me if we got to follow up on a crash. All of it, you're gonna be with me. But if you cannot, it is a 10-hour shift. But if you can't do the 10 hours, we can always drop you off earlier. Like if you only want to do 4, 6 hours.
But if you can't do 10 hours, then you can't do. You can't be a trooper.
Yeah,
right.
that's true. But some people kind of want to just see it and maybe not ride the full 10 hours.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Just let us know what works for you, and we'll make it work.
And I can only imagine how crazy that would be if you went through all that training and you did all that, and then you get on the road and you're like, okay, listen, this isn't what I want to do.
I think it's mind-boggling on both ends, because that person just went through all that to just throw it away, for lack of better words. But also, our department just spends so much money training them, thinking that they were mentally and physically prepared for this career and they knew what they were going into. Because our whole academy, all we're doing is showing videos, scenarios, training, showing all the possibilities that could happen to you, to get out there and now be like, oh, this is what I thought it was. What? What do you mean?
Right.
We've been doing this for 6 months.
Right.
I don't know. It's very confusing, but
So we have to when we do the training in the academy and stuff like that, just make sure you're prepared and to do a ride along and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Thank you. All right, so we'll see you later. We'll give everybody a big wave.